Welcome to In the Zone with yours truly, Anthony. And it is midweek. A lot has happened. I should be talking Super Bowl talk. There's a story that has caught the attention of, especially some of those around the Wichita area. Hopefully I will have a good friend of mine on to talk more in detail about this. But a coach has been terminated, as if we really didn't see that coming, based on what had happened over the weekend. The coach we're talking about is a guy by the name of Greg Heiar, who took over for a guy by the name of Chris Jans, who took the coaching job at, I believe, Ole Miss. There's a connection there as well, too, because Chris Jans is a former Wichita State assistant under a guy by the name of Greg Marshall. And we know how things played out for Greg Marshall at Wichita State. And Wichita State fans are still up in arms based on the current situation of their basketball program right now. One thing Wichita State basketball fans can say is at least theirs didn't go crumbling down as quick as this situation did, and with all the things that have taken place. Anyway, New Mexico State fires basketball coach Greg Heiar amid hazing scandal. New Mexico State has fired men's basketball head coach Greg Heiar amid an investigation into the program, the school announced on Tuesday. The program canceled its season over the weekend as the team reportedly faces allegations over hazing incidents involving multiple players. A police report was filed and the school placed the coaching staff on administrative leave as it conducted an investigation. Additionally, Aggies forward Mike Peake allegedly shot and killed 19-year-old University of New Mexico student Brandon Travis last November in what the police described as self-defense. After that incident, police reportedly found the gun used in that shooting in the hotel room of an assistant. That right there is a red flag. As stated previously, hazing has no place on our campus, and those found responsible will be held accountable for their actions, New Mexico State Chancellor Dan Arvizu said in a statement. He further says, I am committed to the safety and well-being of all members of our campus community, as well as the integrity of our university. Also, in this story, Heiar was in his first season as the Aggies head coach, leading them to a 9-15 record before the season was shut down. He was previously head coach at Northwest Florida State College for a year, following several stints as an assistant coach around the country. Arvizu added that any further decisions regarding the remainder of the coaching staff will be made after additional investigations are concluded. Based on what I have seen take place, if the head coach is gone, the whole staff most likely will end up being replaced as well, too. Because there were some more staff members that was also involved in the shooting incident and the confiscation of personal items, such as you heard me say in that article that one coach was found to have had the gun was in the room of an assistant coach. Also, the bus that the team was riding was pulled over, and one of the other coaches had the phone and the tablet. So you got personal belongings of a shooter that's going to different places as if someone is doing a cover-up. That's the way it appears to me. But yeah, Greg Heiar, because I just read on another podcast of mine, it reported that they had suspended the season based on this allegation right here. And here is the news from the office of the chancellor and what he had to say. He says, "Dear members of New Mexico State University community, earlier today I made the decision to terminate men's basketball coach Greg Heiar, Director of Athletics Mario Macia informed him of my decision this afternoon. This comes after learning of hazing allegations involving student athletes on our men's basketball team. As I've stated previously, hazing has no place on our campus, and those found responsible will be held accountable for their actions. I am committed to the safety and well-being of all members of our campus community as well as the integrity of our university. Through an expansive review of full investigations, we will work to ensure we fully understand what happened here and that those found responsible are held accountable. We will also ensure that support systems are in place to prevent this from happening again. Any further decisions regarding the remainder of the coaching staff will be made after additional investigations are concluded. Sincerely, Dan E. Arvizio, Chancellor." So yes, Greg Heiar fired, terminated, relieved of his duties, however you want to put it. He is no longer coach at New Mexico State. And the reason this is a very intriguing situation because I'm here in Wichita, Kansas, and I'm going to try to guard my words very carefully as to not get rumors started. But there is a fan base and a percentage of people that are ready to also part ways with current men's basketball coach at Wichita State, Isaac Brown, based on last season and the way things are going this season. Yet I still say the season is not over. Some fans, including myself, I kind of lean on the 50-50. Basically, the way the season is going, 50-50, you're looking at possibly a 500 season, which we were one game over 500 last year. The name Greg Heiar came up as someone to look at. However, the way his season is gone, I don't think he will even be looked at as far as a candidate. Not only will he not be looked at, it may be a while before he gets a second chance. I'm pretty sure now Wichita State fans are like, well, if he was on our list, he's off the list now. Just that quick. As quick as his coaching career ended, pretty much. Because this is something that it takes a while. You may be able to get an NBA job, maybe. But with this going on, it could be deemed as lack of institutional control, plain and simple. And what I really want to do, because there was more to this hazing story, and I really want to get into it because of some of the things that took place. And I have it right here. It goes into further detail. That article I just read to you basically came from the Sports Illustrated. This one here is off of Yahoo Sports, where I'm going with this one. said that, of course, now we know that the timeline is the Aggies suspended their program on Friday. It says, in the report, an alleged victim on the team, here's where it gets real bad, claims that 3 of his teammates held him down with him facing down, removed his clothing, exposing his buttocks, and began to slap his ass. He also went on to state that they also touched his scrotum. The alleged hazing reportedly occurred in front of other players. No criminal charges have been reported to be filed, but the allegations were enough to end a massively turbulent season for the Aggies. Heiar was in his first season in Las Cruces after being hired from Northwest Florida State. He was brought in to replace former head coach Chris Jans, who was hired by Mississippi State after leading the team to the NCAA tournament last year. Now we go back to the fatal shooting here. Fatal shooting also loomed for New Mexico State. In addition to the hazing allegations and a 9-15 record, New Mexico State made headlines in December when forward Mike Peake was allegedly involved in a fatal shooting on the campus of the University of New Mexico. While subsequent reports have indicated that Peake was lured to the campus by 4 UNM students seeking to ambush him, and he returned fire only after being shot in the leg, it has also been reported that 3 teammates took the gun from Peake, and it was found in the possession of an assistant coach in a hotel after the team left town. No criminal charges have been filed against Peake or any members of the Aggies program over that incident, but it was still under investigation when the hazing allegations came out. Peake has not played for the Aggies since the incident. So now, New Mexico State's president's statement on firing Heiar. Dear members of our NMSU community, and we've already hashed that out, so we're not going to go back through that. But keep in mind that some articles have stated it like this. Greg Heiar, he did coach around the country under multiple coaches. Greg Marshall, Larry Eustace, Will Wade. One article said, basically in short form, based on who he coached under, what do you expect? In other words, it should have been a red flag. So there you have my lead-in story. New Mexico State parts ways with Greg Heiar. What a way to start a show. But there is so much more to come on In the Zone. So what I want you to do is stay tuned to In the Zone. We have more to come, so don't you go nowhere. It is Wednesday. Hope you're having a fantastic start to your morning. I'll be back shortly. In the Zone with Anthony. And now we're going to get into a little bit of Super Bowl talk. Those of you who watched the game, wherever you may watch it from, it was a thriller. I'm going to go ahead and say it was a classic. Best team in the NFC versus the best team in the AFC. The MVP of the season versus the MVP runner-up. You couldn't have scripted this any better. You couldn't have had... It's very rare that you get two of the best teams from each conference in there. Yeah, I know based on whichever teams win their conference championship goes, but these two teams were tops in their respective conferences throughout the year. Other teams have even tried to go the baseball route. What do I mean by the baseball route? Trying to buy a championship. Because, you know, baseball has no salary cap. Football has a salary cap, however, teams that were paying and also saying because of what the Chiefs lost, there was no way. Some didn't even have them predicted to win their own conference. Yeah, that is very laughable. As long as you have Andy Reid, Patrick Mahomes, Travis Kelce, you have a chance. Anyway, Chiefs rally in second half to take down Eagles to win Super Bowl 57. Harrison Butker kicked the 27-yard field goal with 8 seconds left, and Patrick Mahomes passed for 2 of his 3 touchdowns in the fourth quarter as the Kansas City Chiefs rallied to a 38-35 victory over the Philadelphia Eagles in Super Bowl 57 on Sunday night in Glendale, Arizona. Kadarius Toney caught a touchdown pass and set up another score with a long punt return as Kansas City became just the second team in Super Bowl history to rally from a deficit of 10 or more points. Trivia, can you name the other team? Travis Kelce and Sky Moore caught touchdown passes, Isaiah Pacheco ran for a score, and Nick Bolton returned a fumble for a touchdown for the Chiefs. The Super Bowl title is the third for Kansas City. The Chiefs also won in 1969 and also in 2019. Philadelphia's Jalen Hurts tied a Super Bowl record with 3 rushing scores and also passed for 1 touchdown. Hurts was 27 of 38 passing for 304 yards and rushed for 70 while teaming up with Mahomes as the first pair of black starting quarterbacks in Super Bowl history. Former Denver Broncos star Terrell Davis rushed for 3 touchdowns against the Green Bay Packers. Kansas City moved 66 yards on 12 plays for the winning field goal, receiving help from a third down defensive holding penalty on Philadelphia's James Bradbury. Another key play was a 26-yard scramble by Mahomes, who earlier aggravated his right ankle injury on Kansas City's final offensive snap the first half. A.J. Brown caught 6 passes for 96 yards and 1 touchdown, and Devontae Smith had 7 receptions for 100 yards for the Eagles. Teams that trailed by 10 or more points at halftime in the Super Bowl are now 2-26. Well, I guess here's the answer to that question. The New England Patriots were the first team to accomplish it as they recovered from a 25-point hold to beat the Atlanta Falcons. Kansas City took its first lead of the contest at 28-27 when Mahomes completed a 5-yard scoring pass to a wide-open Toney with 12:04 left in the game. That also marked the first time Philadelphia had trailed the entire postseason. The Chiefs then forced a 3-and-out and cashed in big when Toney set up a Super Bowl record with a 65-yard punt return. He fielded the ball at his 30-yard line and started left before reversing to the right with a wall of teammates blocking. He was stopped at the Eagles' 5. 3 plays later, Mahomes had another wide-open target in Moore, who caught the 4-yard scoring pass to give Kansas City an 8-point lead with 9:22 remaining. Philadelphia quickly responded as Hurts connected with Smith on a 45-yard pass to the Chiefs' 2. Hurts scored on a quarterback sneak on the next play and then ran in the 2-point conversion to tie it at 35 with 5:15 remaining. Mahomes re-injured his right ankle when tackled with 1:33 left in the first half, but he didn't seem bothered by it when the Chiefs opened the second half with a 10-play, 75-yard drive. Pacheco capped the drive with a 1-yard run with 9:30 left in the third quarter to pull Kansas City within 24-21. Philadelphia responded with a 17-play, 60-yard drive that took 7 minutes, 45 seconds. Jake Elliott finished it by booting a 33-yard field goal to give the Eagles a 6-point lead with 1:45 left in the period. Hurts rushed for 2 touchdowns and threw for 1 in the first half to give Philadelphia a 24-14 advantage. So that was the recap of the Super Bowl, which once again I would say it will most likely go down as a classic. So, with that, Patrick Mahomes joins a rare club with another Super Bowl MVP. Kansas City Chiefs quarterback Patrick Mahomes is already putting himself among the NFL's all-time greats, and he joined a very exclusive club on Sunday. Mahomes not only won his second Super Bowl in the Chiefs' 38-35 win, he also took home his second Super Bowl MVP. I'm going to have more on this story when I come back. But what I'm going to do now is I am going to take a break. When I come back, I will have more to this story. So you stay tuned. In the Zone with Anthony. Welcome back to In the Zone. So as I left on my last break, I was talking about Patrick Mahomes joins a rare club with another Super Bowl MVP. So, along with winning another Super Bowl, a second Super Bowl MVP, that means Mahomes is just the third quarterback in league history to win at least 2 Super Bowls, 2 Super Bowl MVP awards, and 2 league MVP awards. The other 2, Tom Brady and Joe Montana. So the list of QBs with at least 2 Super Bowl wins, Super Bowl MVPs, and NFL MVPs. Tom Brady, Joe Montana, Patrick Mahomes. And the most incredible thing about Mahomes joining that list is that he is only 27 years old and only been a starting quarterback for 6 years. He is still in the prime of his career and still has at least a decade of high-level football ahead of him. Every year he has been a starter. The Chiefs have advanced to at least the AFC Championship game in already 3 Super Bowls. He has now won 2 of them. There is no limit to what he could potentially do, and given where his career already is, he is going to have a chance to put himself among the NFL's all-time greatest quarterbacks if he is not already there. In some more related NFL news surrounding the Super Bowl, Adrian Peterson spoke with Demar Hamlin over disrespectful jacket. Adrian Peterson took issue with the jacket Demar Hamlin wore to the Super Bowl and says he spoke with the Buffalo Bills defensive back about it. Hamlin was an MVP at the Super Bowl on Sunday and sat next to Roger Goodell and Donna Kelsey. He was wearing a blue and white Letterman-style jacket. The jacket is a fashion collaboration called Travis Jesus by the brand Saint and designer Takashi Murakami, and it sells for thousands of dollars. The jacket has a depiction of Jesus, which left Peterson offended. He says, "You should be thanking God, son. This is blasphemy. We all fall short, but come on, man. I find this disrespectful. Hashtag grateful. Hashtag God did," Peterson wrote on Instagram Monday. Legendary running back argued in a follow-up comment that of anyone, Hamlin should especially be grateful to God and be more conscious about the imagery of his clothing. But this was different. I know young people don't think at times, older as well, but with everything surrounding his situation, this isn't one of those moments where it's a young guy not thinking, Peterson wrote. Peterson later updated his Instagram post to note that he had spoken with Hamlin. "So I spoke with @D.Ham3, Demar, and we were able to discuss our thoughts as men. I want to be clear. I am the last person to judge anyone, and that was never my intention. However, I do feel as if the jacket was disrespectful, and it was something that I needed to share. I do realize everyone makes mistakes and falls short at times. So again, my intention was never to judge, just to share my opinion. Demar, I have respect and love for you, and I wish you nothing but the best. But I just can't rock with that jacket. I feel like there are a lot of people, young and old, looking up to you, and with power and influence comes great responsibility. I apologize for offending you. I just felt offended in that moment as a man who loves and respects our Lord and Savior, Yeshua. After speaking with Demar, I have an understanding that it didn't come from a place of ill intent," Peterson wrote in his comments. Peterson, 37, is a 7-time Pro Bowl running back, the number 9 overall pick in 2007. Peterson played all the way through 2021 season, lasting much longer than most running backs. The 3-time rushing champion will likely end up in the Hall of Fame. Hamlin is recovering after suffering cardiac arrest during the Bills' Week 17 game at Cincinnati that wound up being suspended. He has interest in playing football again. Well, that is going to do it for this, I guess if you want to say, and it's under 30 minutes, short, abbreviated In the Zone podcast. Hope you have enjoyed the content of it. Feel free to let me know what you think about it. I'll be glad to hear your feedback. Enjoy the rest of your Wednesday. I will be back much sooner than later with some more good content. So until next time, take care of yourself and each other. Stay blessed. This is yours truly, In the Zone, Anthony, signing out.